Hi, we're going to show you how to put together a set of driving lines. We've had some questions about that. So what I did is I went to a hardware store, bought 100 feet of 1/2 inch. This is braided poly rope. I've got some snaps that are going to go onto the end of it. The snap ring is big enough, they're 1-inch ring, to the rope go through and still be able to move a little bit. The biggest thing is to make sure this snap is going to fit. If you're using a snaffle bit, some of these rings are really large, and make sure it fits on those versus getting a smaller snap. So that would be something to consider. Then I've got 2 clamps here that we're going to use on the rope. Then the next part of this is, if you've seen the videos, we're using a rope with some rings on it to run the lines through when it's on the horse. These are, there's 4 2.5 inch diameter rings, and it will look like this when we're done. So we will get started. I'm going to make a set of 30-foot long lines. So we'll get going here. So you'll just need a tape measure, and somebody to help you with it. And to get a 30-foot finished, I'm going to need to do about 31 feet. Okay. Then I'm going to use a set of tree pruning shears to cut it, because it's fairly easy. Otherwise, you can just use a sharp knife. You could grab the wrong end of the rope here. Okay, so here's our 2 ropes, and we need to melt the ends of them so they don't come undone. Mosquitoes. Okay, so those are going to be a little warm for a little bit, so you don't want to put your hands on them. There's our extra rope. Okay, so now we're gonna take and make the end. So we're gonna put the ring over it, or the snap through. It's like this. And we're gonna lay it in. To our rope, and I've got an anvil here. I'm going to take the hammer and pound those down. So, got one. The end is finished, and it shouldn't come apart. We'll do the second one. Make sure you put the snap on before you clamp it down, otherwise you're going to look kind of silly here. Just comparing to just kind of get them similar. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we've got the snaps on the rope. Pick one of those rings up. If you want, it's up to you. You can take and tie a knot in the other end so you know where the rope is at. End of the rope is, if it goes through. Just a little okay, so the lines are all put together and ready to use. So those are all finished. All right. Now next thing we got to do is to make our other part that goes on the saddle that you run the lines through. So this rope here, it's going to take about 13 to 15 feet of rope total, depending on how big around your horse is. We're going to put a loop in the top that's going to go over the saddle horn. I'm going to move this bit out of the way. So we'll find the end of the rope here. Somewhere. There's an end. Then I'm gonna measure out 15 feet of this. Okay. Then I'll cut. Okay, so I got to burn one end here again, melt it. Okay, so I'm going to take and run this rope up to the middle here, so we're centered. Then I'm going to tie a knot in it. It's just a simple little knot, and you can make these knots different sizes depending on how big the saddle horn on your saddle happens to be. We got the knots done there. Now we need to put these 2 rings on. So those can be adjusted a little bit different if you want. The top rings, I use those when the horse is a little more finished on the driving. The lower rings I'll use when we first start them out. So I've got that.
You want to put a tape on that? So
and I will measure that, show you about how long that is. From the knot we tied on it, we're down about 1 foot with that ring. And we'll put our next string on. Now the trick is to make them match. Wow, we're doing good on this. Okay, so we got the top rings on. Now we're going to go to the second set of rings on this and put those on. And they're about, these ones are about 10 inches below our first set of rings. Okay, so we're about 10 inches down. And we'll do the next one. Let's see how close we're getting. Not very. Okay, so got this made. Now the loop here is going to go onto the saddle horn. The ends of the rope here, you can run them through the stirrups and tie it under the horse's belly where the cinch is.
We can show them how to do that tomorrow.
And we'll show you how to do that tomorrow when we've got one of the colts caught and get ready to drive. So if you got any questions, let us know. Have a good day.